From his home in this quiet English town, 88-year-old Reg Brown is trying to ensure that one of the most mysterious and deadly wrecks in history gets the respect it deserves. The HMT Lancastria lies off the coast of France in a so-called no-dive zone. Reg wants the site declared an official war grave, to be protected from looters and left alone forever. Reg was aboard the HMT Lancastria when she was bombed off St. Nazaire, France, June 17, 1940. The ship was built to hold 2,000. But in World War II, desperate times called for desperate measures, and no one knows how many people were aboard. It may have been as many as 9,000.
I arrived there on the Sunday, and they were already ferrying troops out to the ship, because it took about 5 days to fill the ship. Imagine going out, in little boats every day. It wasn't very long before they started bombing. They were watching above, you see. They knew that there were no more ships coming out to load into the Lancastria. And they were dropping bombs around the ship, but missing the ship. I don't know how many bombs, but they were a terrible noise. Then all of a sudden, the corner of the ceiling came in, and we climbed up the stairs, up the other stairs, stripped off, kept our socks on, underpants and vest. And we flung ourselves out from a rope from a lifeboat hook,
Reg was one of the lucky few. While the death toll was unclear, it was believed to be in the thousands.
I've had nightmares about that, about 3,000 bodies being in there. Yeah, poor devils.
But what's known about the Lancastria ends there. After the attack, Winston Churchill declared a media blackout on the subject, and rumors persist that all records on the subject have been sealed for 100 years, although the British government denies it. Because of the secrecy involved, the public largely forgot about the Lancastria, or knew little to begin with, despite the massive death toll. Now, 70 years later, a campaign is mounting to have the wreck site named an official war grave and protected forever.
And now all of a sudden it's exploded. Why was it kept secret so long? Why wasn't this known or mentioned before? Why couldn't we have done something this before? Whether it's a cover-up, I don't know.
Reg is heading to London to hand-deliver a petition to the British Prime Minister, demanding the Lancastria be declared an official war grave. Other British wreck sites have received the same designation, with lower casualty numbers than Lancastria.
Mr. Prime Minister, we've come here today to issue a petition for the sake of the Lancastria. We wish for you to make it official, to make this ship a war grave, to give some respect for those that didn't make it. I'd be most grateful if you could really do that for us, sir. Thank you.
Reg has been anticipating this trip for years. He arrives in London, meeting fellow survivors and members of the Scottish Lancastria Association. This unlikely team is about to confront the British Prime Minister, demanding action.
Reg. Hello, Reg.
Hello, Mark.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Hello. John.
Good to see you. I think the last member of my family you met was my grandfather on the boat.
Was it?
It would have been, yeah. He was in 663.
Yeah, I was in 663.
Yeah, he was Walter Hirst.
What section was he in?
Section 2.
I was?
Yeah, Walter Hirst. He was a joiner.
Oh, gosh, yes, I knew him.
Yeah. Dundee.
Yeah.
Mark Hirst is secretary of the Scottish Lancastria Association.
The Ministry of Defence have said that there was no official report into the sinking of the Lancastria in 1940. That's not really credible when you consider that this is the worst maritime disaster in British history, and to simply lose the official report doesn't seem credible to me. So,
no one knows why the sinking of the Lancastria has been such a secret for 7 decades, or if secret records will be released long after Reg and others have died. The spectacle of aging veterans confronting the Prime Minister has drawn out the media and curious onlookers.
This is number 10 Downing Street, obviously. This is where Prime Minister Winston Churchill received news of the disaster in the afternoon of 17th of June 1940 and decided to place a D notice over news of the disaster for fear that it would undermine British public morale. And from that point on, this tragedy has remained effectively secret. But today we're trying to rectify that, and that's the purpose of today. And this is a historic moment in many ways. It's almost bringing it full circle. And we hope after this that they will bring formal designation to the wreck of Lancastria.
Tensions are high as the team approaches the Prime Minister's residence. The Prime Minister does not personally come to the door as Reg had hoped. Instead, a Downing Street official receives the petition. Yet another disappointment for the team.
We came here today for a purpose, as I say, to lodge a petition against the government so they can give us the decency of having the ship Lancastria named as a war grave. We'll never forget the Lancastria.
But the day is not over for Reg. He's received word that an important relic from HMT Lancastria that turned up mysteriously at a memorial service in France has been brought to a London church for safekeeping. The relic in question is the ship's bell, something Reg has not seen for nearly 70 years. If Reg needed any further proof that the Lancastria site is at risk, this is it. He may never find out exactly what happened to the Lancastria, but he leaves London hoping someday his nation will officially honor the thousands who went down with the ship.